A very good evening once again. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to our second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukoma. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in our first story is back home from the Russian coastal city of Sochi, where he joined other African heads of state and government for a two-day Russia-Africa summit. The summit took place under the theme and covering the potential for cooperation and aimed at strengthening and expanding Russia's relations and areas of cooperation with Africa in the political, social and economic matters. On arrival at Entebbe International Airport, President Yoweri Museveni was received by the Minister for Presidency, Esther Mbayo, the Head of Public Service, John Mitala, Commander of the Air Forces, Major General Charles Lwangalu Tahaya, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Andrew Sorowen, and the Director of Correctional Services in the Uganda Prison Service, Akena Samuel. The United Nations have commemorated the 74 years since the adoption of the UN Charter at San Francisco. In Uganda, the commemoration was held at the UN Resident Coordinator's Residence, Rosa Malango, in Kololo. It was attended by a cross-section of ambassadors and High Commissioner accredited to Uganda and representatives of international organizations still here.
The theme for this year's UN Day celebrations was Youth Entrepreneurship for SDGs. The UN has been able to raise awareness about the SDGs amongst the youth whose future the SDGs seek to secure. A number of youth groups earlier in the day exhibited at Kololo Independence Grounds as testimony to the great potential that the youth have. The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, said that Uganda values her membership of the UN and has continued to participate actively in the work of the global organization.
We should also congratulate the world and humanity that we have been, for 74 years, we have been able to build and sustain a global institution that is able to bring all of us together, either in New York or in Kampala or in any corner of the world. The fact that we have been able to organize ourselves for that long in such a cohesive and a productive manner is something that is a great achievement.
Peace and security remains a major concern in various parts of the world, and the combined resolve of the United Nations will still be counted on for their resolution. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda today visited Roofing's rolling mills in Kampala Industrial and Business Park in Namamve. This tour was a follow-up on the investment challenges that Roofing Group had raised with government regarding the steel industry in Uganda. We have this as well.
This tour of Roofing's rolling mills in Namamve Industrial Park was particularly meant to prompt government support to steel manufacturing concerns like common external tariffs. The Prime Minister came along with the Second Deputy Premier Alhaj Chirunda Chivejinja and representatives from line ministries, departments and agencies of government. The Premier and his entourage were conducted on a guided tour of the factory to appreciate Roofing's contribution to the country. The three-unit complex consists of 3 phases, namely wire galvanizing plant for phase 1, hot rolling mill for phase 2, and cold rolling mill with galvanizing and color-coated lines for phase 3. The Prime Minister appreciated the contribution Roofings has made to Uganda's development agenda.
Roofings, which started 25 years ago, is now employing almost 1,500, and you have given us ways and means of how you can expand this number of employees. I think you and the government have a responsibility to again follow this matter to ensure that it's as rational as possible so that you can continue to expand and create opportunities for jobs I'm happy about the exports of $70 million per year.
The group chairman and managing director, Dr. Sikandar Lalani, informed the Prime Minister's entourage about salient issues affecting his investment. He called for more government support of his investment, which is currently $280 million in 2019 from $2 million in 1994.
We would urge the government to please consider to include our item, because this will make our production to go up by 12 to 14%. This will make economies of scale. Our production would be cheaper. For the moment, we are exporting about 6,000 to 7,000 tons, and if we have this protection with some of the industries like ceramic tiles and all, as soon as they started, they got that protection. So we urge the government to give this, and the results would be very, very conducive for the country and for our project.
Roofing steel industry started 25 years ago with the first branch situated in Lubowa, Kampala. It now employs 1,700 people. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Now, Makerere University administration has distanced from sanctioning an operation where students were allegedly beaten up last night by security forces. In an interview with UBC, the university communications manager, that is Dr. Muhammad Musoke Chigundu, said that the university did not sanction the operation, and he also clarified that there is no any increment in the fees structure this year.
It is not a fee, I maintain, it's not fees increment, because this year we do not have any increment in tuition at all at Makerere University. We don't. I just want to maintain.
The university has the responsibility of keeping the university calm and taking care of the lives of the people. But again, I want to make it clear that as we do that, there are some organs that are beyond us, like security. Makerere being at the center, and with students who are very much energetic and important, and they are pursuing for any other issue that they may be wanting, security came on board. And I just want to let you know that for the issue of security, even when you think it's my house, and if they claim that they have to be there, then that supersedes what your authority may be like. That's what I can say.
Dr. Muhammad Chigundu Musoke saying there is no anything like fees increment at Makerere, and that they did not sanction the operation that was in the university. We'll keep you posted about whatever is in Makerere. The Commission of Inquiry into Land has learned that the acquisition of land allegedly belonging to the family of the late Ndiwalana Alexandria Gabunga in Busiro, Sazi Buwaya, was fraudulent. The Commission was interacting with the Administrator General Charles Kasibayo over acquisition of 12 square miles in Busiro, Sazi Buwaya, as Sudat Kaye tells in this story.
Concluding that somebody should be compensated. Is it still feasible?
The Land Commission sitting at the Archives and Records Center Wandegea has interacted with the Administrator General Charles Kasimbayo on how land belonging to the Uganda Free Zone is being claimed by alleged family members of the late Ndiwalana Alexandria Gabunga, who died in 1930. Justice Catherine Bamgemelere said they are still investigating the alleged acquisition of the title for the land in question using the late Alexandria Ndiwalana Gabunga's name.
It was something, a cycle in your office, in the head of clan, in the registry. When you see a registrar, okay, assistant administrator general here, renting to the registrar of titles in 205, tell me the block and plot of this. That's very suggestive. In my view now, I have a suspicious mind, and it is there with my suspicious mind, it could be wrong.
The commission was puzzled on how two ladies purporting to be heir to the late Ndiwalana Alexandria Gabunga could sell land to Engineer Lutaya under one Paul Bukenya, yet the estate had already been administered with most of the land sold.
The cartridge maps seem to suggest that the whole chronology of this land would not have entitled those three who come from different lines or there. to actually benefit from this estate.
It was deemed necessary for the Office of the Administrator General to explain how 125 acres were created in the Karamazoo.
Because in investigations we find this is the particular group that has sold land to the prisons. These three and whoever they are connected with had sold to the prisons. So the joy and you know the juice of selling from the prison must have made them tempted to say, who is our neighbor who is not using their land?
The inquiry noted that lack of adjudication could have weakened the position of the Commissioner Land Registration.
Adjudication, for example, under what law can the Administrator General direct? Even if there was adjudication. The only law we know is Section 91 of the Land Act, where he exercises that mandate.
The Administrator General informed the Commission that dealing with land in Buganda region is a challenge, especially when dealing with the land markets and the succession certificates.
It's very difficult, even the Office of Administrator General, to identify a great-grandchild of a person who died in 1912 without records. That's why in cooperation with the Lands Office now, we say even bring a photograph of the deceased. And we are surprised that some of them actually were putting photos of people who are living.
The estate of the late Ndiwarana Alexandria Gabunga was handed over to Buganda Succession Law of 1912 and came to the Office of the Administrator General in 1967, but all his property was given to his children. According to information availed to the Commission, the land in contention was sold to Awanbu Kenya and Lutaya fraudulently, and they are now claiming ownership. Sudat Kaye, UBC.
Uganda Police believes that involvement of the public into security is paramount. It is now looking at reorganizing its men for proper handling of suspects. The force says that the installation of cameras is so far doing so well.
Uganda Police confirms that about 90% of camera installations in Kampala Metropolitan has been achieved. The installment of these cameras has supported police to quicken investigation.
Some of the suspects would not have identified. I took some of the media people to go and see what takes place there. CCTV is up and running. The only problem was the people running the system, which we are now putting emphasis. And if we didn't have that problem, I think even we would not have lost Nagirinyo.
Assistant Inspector General of Police Hassan Kasinje, in his interaction with newsroom bosses working with various media houses, says police raids on criminals are not about to stop.
This operation mainly hinges in making sure that we dismantle the criminal gangs that are in Kampala. Number two, we take them to courts of law. And number three, we also find those who have been benefiting from the proceeds of crime.
Currently, it takes approximately 15 minutes for police to respond to crime, and police wants to reduce this to 5 minutes.
It means that in Nansana, people came at the hardware store, and in 5 minutes, they had committed the crime, they had taken the money, and they had done what? They had disappeared. Which means 15 minutes, you are not going to catch the guys. The 15 minutes also mean that people have already known that the police will take 15 minutes, but in 15 minutes they will even break into smaller groups and they would disappear.
Police is now encouraging the public to utilize and use numbers given to them to report crime.
If you are in Bukoma Nsimbi, or if you are in Rwenzori, or wherever you are, by the time you call Kasinje, who stays in Entere, and Kasinje calls the RPC, and the RPC calls the DPC, and the DPC calls the OC, are we going to make that response time become? It's not going to happen.
Moving forward, the 999 emergency number is under review for efficacy. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
News Tonight takes a very short break. Please keep around as we come in with more.
Mommy, you can't touch me. You can't touch me. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh,
I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache? Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare, contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare, caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
This weekend on UBC.
My name is Mkaiv Hannington, winner of the NSSF Friends with Benefits Season 2.
Congratulations, Hannington!
I used my winnings to boost my agricultural production and give a chance to the people in my community to work.
So join us this year for the third season of the NSSF Friends with Benefits, as 16 Ugandans share inspirational stories on how they use their NSSF benefits to do life-changing things. So tune in every Sunday with your host, Gaetano and I, and special new host, Uncle D. It's another incredible display. It's the NSSF Friends with Benefits.
And that's not all. You have the power to vote for your favorite stories to win up to 55 million shillings, just like Huntington. This show is brought to you by
NSSF, a better life.
Welcome back from the break. It's news tonight. Namirembe Road is not the suitable place for the non-motorized transport corridor because it is commercial hub and needs serious planning. The Lord Mayor Kampala Arias Lukwago says that this facility is in line with modern planning, but they never agreed on the place of the implementation for the pilot.
The authority is currently constructing non-motorized transport corridor from Bakuli through Namirembe Road to Entebbe Road. The road is meant to be inclusive to ensure people are given opportunity to walk and cyclists as well. The design has narrow lanes constructed under one way for motorized transport. This infrastructure has caused traffic jam because, according to the road user, the diversion corridors were not also planned. According to KCCA, this plan follows World Bank survey, which found it necessary for an NMT corridor.
But some people have already started appreciating. If you go to the road in the evening, you can see the number of people who are walking. And if now we have finished up on the road, we are going to see the number of people who are going to fly this road. This number is going to increase, and I know the walking.
However, to the Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago, Namirembe Road was a wrong choice for this pilot, and they did not agree on it.
Because that's a commercial hub. It's an intersection of all different business activities. You have two taxi parks within the locality, you have Central there, you have shopping malls, you have Chikugo, you have bus parks and whatnot. So it's a hot pot, some place which is really needs serious planning. And all of a sudden you can't wake up and say, this is where we are going to implement the non-motorized vehicle. That can't be the appropriate choice for a non-motorized corridor. No, that can't be the one. So my view, my gut feeling in the beginning was that we made the wrong choice as an institution and have been proved right. They didn't even bring a feasibility study, neither did they produce to us a traffic impact assessment, because I insisted, give us the traffic impact assessment report. How is it going to affect the business activities within that particular locality?
So we are trying to make this road and ensure that we push the purchasing public. And within a few years, many areas are going to call for such roads to be established within the city.
Lukwago says NMT is in line with modern planning, but should not have been tried out in this particular area. He emphasizes that they are not fighting development, but prefers it in an organized way.
We pilot it in the upscale Kampala. We could have started with the parliamentary avenue here and see how it works. so that members of parliament and the those MPs, the ministers, these wannabes, will take a walk around here. Those who want to work with their partners here, those weekend leisure, what, and interacted with the, traffic movement. Those are the people who enjoy those facilities. But that facility is not suited for that particular area.
To Usafi Market as planned because engagements with stakeholders are still on.
So taxis coming from Intended, Sekule, Natete, and Machingi have been relocated to Usafi Park. Now, the space that is being granted and taxis coming from Intended Road, Masaka Road, and Machingi have been relocated to Usafi. That park is convenient for that direction. That is the first phase of the relocation of state.
Kampala Capital City Authority also explains how flyovers are going to help further improve traffic in the city.
Where there has been junctions, for example, around the Chitigumu House, around the Queensway, you are going to have roads on top so that people don't need to move around or wait for traffic lights. It's going to be automatic that once you move it on the flyover, you are either going out of the city or entering the city if you are moving underground.
Amnafka Farida reporting.
Mawokota North Member of Parliament and Minister for Trade and Industry Amelia Chambade has advised the public to be patriotic and embrace projects brought to them for the development of their localities. However, Chambade cautions voters against politicians who disrupt these projects due to their political affiliations that are #1 enemies of development.
The Mawokota Member of Parliament and the Minister for Trade and Industry, Amelia Chambade, is worried with some political leaders who disrupt developmental projects regarding their political affiliations. She says it's a major challenge facing the country. Chambade says before joining active politics, she established a Twezembe Development Association with the aim of promoting health, HIV therapy, maternal health, education, water and sanitation, among others. Some politicians, however, mistook the association to be fighting them politically. She therefore advised the general public against supporting politicians who always politicize developmental projects, especially by the government.
I started an NGO and I started supporting people, but I got a lot of resistance from the politicians. That's when I decided to also become a politician. Education is key, and we have invested a lot in almost every institution. I always look at areas where more people benefit from a project or a program. I cannot leave out religious institutions because they also gather a lot of people, mobilize people. They give them moral support, spiritual nourishment.
Chambade made the remarks during the press conference in her office and said since 2011 in Parliament, she has lobbied to the people from government and her office as the MP include renovation of the Mawokota Saza headquarters, health centers, pipe to water and power, especially to areas where they did not have these facilities.
My culture in that I have supported the Kabaka of Uganda by improving on the services in our area for the Uganda culture. I've worked on the residences of the Kabaka in Muduma and Kamengo, improving them, restructured them, rehabilitated them. So I think I want to thank the people of Mawokota North for the support they've given me.
She encouraged people in Mawokota constituency to utilize these benefits, which include quality education, support to border riders, constructed houses for the underprivileged, and introducing population wealth creation in the sub-counties of Muduma. Kiringenti and Kamengo. Chambad also says it is very important for the youth to embrace skills development, and she commended the government for rolling out utilities like energy, water and roads to the rural communities that has promoted employment among the youth. Huduma, Kiringenti and Kamengo residents are appreciative of the development efforts.
To thank Honorable Mayor Chambade for this project. As you can see, many people, many children are dying as a result of crossing the road, going to the wells, going to springs. Many changes have occurred, more especially in the AIDS counseling center and the maternity ward. Now, the pregnant women or pregnant mothers, they have a good condition in the maternity ward.
Fred Kasabante compiled this report.
Salaries and gratuity for former ISO officers are to be paid this November following the release of funds by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to cater for the payment of these beneficiaries. The exercise had been delayed earlier on following the petition by lawyers representing some aggrieved beneficiaries. However, a statement released by the Ministry of Security and signed by General Eli Tumwine, the minister himself, highlighted that the Ministry of Security and the committee handling the exercise have decided to hold on to the exercise for 1 month to ensure that the court case doesn't affect the completion of the exercise.
This great family, I only can say I know, I can say hallelujah.
General Eli Tumwine there. For every 3 to 5 births to 1,000 babies are born with hydrocephalus, a common abnormality among children in Uganda. The disease, also referred to as water in the brain in our common language, occurs both in children and adults, causing a buildup of the cerebrospinal fluid in the cavities. Cure Hospital has specialized in the treatment of brain problems, where a minimum of 6 to 7 surgeries are performed every day. As Mutonyi Hilda reports, hydrocephalus and spina bifida are on the increase and need urgent intervention to reduce the effects.
A 17.5-kilometer drive out of Mbale municipality leads to Rwangoli village, Bungoho sub-county in Mbale district. It is in this area that we met 11-year-old Emmanuel Masinde, his brother Roger Stumwa, and his playmates returning from school. Emmanuel Masinde once had a deformity of the head that was operated on and is now recovering and studying like any other child. Hydrocephalus infection, also referred to as water in the brain, occurs both in children and adults, causing a buildup of the cerebrospinal fluid in the cavities. Dr. Emmanuel Wegoye, a neurosurgeon at Cure Children's Specialized Hospital Mbale, says hydrocephalus cases are on the increase. Cure Children's Hospital is a leading neurological hospital that handles brain-related surgery like hydrocephalus, spina bifida, and brain tumors. Wegoye says mothers that do not attend antenatal care are partly to blame for the escalation of the hydrocephalus infection.
When children are born in environments that are not clean, they will develop meningitis. This meningitis will result into inflammation of the membranes that are supposed to absorb this water, blockage of the pathways through which this water should flow. As a result, the water will accumulate within their waterways and they will develop hydrocephalus.
As we approach Masinde's home, his mother Sylvia Nakabugo recognizes us because we were here 2 years earlier. The condition is not good at home, but I'm a hard-working woman. My father-in-law, unlike Masinde's mother, Ruth Naruja, Another mother with an infected child learnt of her child's condition when she was for a scan.
And the radiologist, as she was giving me the results, the way she broke the news to me, she was like, I'm going to give birth to something that was not common, that the language she used. She said, ogenda kubeera na nga bino ebyana eby'emitwe.
Ruth was rejected by both her family and husband's family, later on her husband abandoning her.
Nga taata w'omwana ndowooza yatuuka ekiseera n'atendewalirwa era n'ava mu bulamu bwaffe nga maama n'omwana balina embeera eno ey'obulemu.
While Masinde is progressing well, Nakabgo continues to worry over her two sons' future as her health keeps deteriorating. Sam Shimanya and Emmanuel Masinde are some of the hospital's success stories we came across.
I'm going to do exams. When I go in the paper, it gets stuck.
Moses Nyote is the patient liaison officer at Cure Children's Hospital in Mbale. Their role is to ensure parents bring children for review and teach them to overcome stigma.
In these 2 years, we have also been able to make sure that she adheres not only to the review dates of Emma, but also come for the parents' support group meeting. We have these meetings every odd month, once every 2 months, and she's part of that group.
Surgeons from all over visit Cure Hospital to gain expertise, which help them to perform such surgeries in their home countries. Experts believe the leading cause of hydrocephalus in Uganda is neonatal sepsis, although other causes are congenital and accidents. However, doctors still believe some of the traditional practices could contribute to hydrocephalus, since not everyone does it hygienically.
Kind of hydrocephalus, I think, is cause rather in our setting is post-infection. We also believe that certain cultural practices might be also a cause of this. I think the so-called chogero or something like that, because most mothers, most of these babies tend to come with an inflamed anterior frontal nail.
Have we built capacity in terms of human resource to handle these mothers? So we should answer the question, why do mothers prefer to live at home or with traditional birth attendants?
Mulago National Referral Hospital handles some of these conditions, except for cases that require the ETV CPC method that is only performed at Cure in Mbale.
They need special scopes, endoscopes. What you do is you make a hole around there and then put a special camera into the ventricle, go and make an opening. We haven't had those scopes. We hope to get them. So for now, we refer these patients to Cure Hospital in Mbale.
Tim Erickson is the executive director, Cure Children's Hospital in Mbale. He says there is need for expansion of the infrastructure to accommodate the ever-increasing numbers of patients.
You know, the continued efforts to spread the story about the need for early intervention, early surgery, early access to care. More and more babies are coming to Cure. There are more and more people being referred instead of being hidden away in the village. You've seen the ward, it's overflowing. So we are going to be expanding. Our plan is to expand the ward to add another 25% capacity.
Shimanya Dison Kutosi, a grandfather to a 16-year-old Sam Shimanya, who is now a senior 4 candidate, shares the experience.
1 year or two, notice some swellings in the head, and the eyes became small. So the father and the mother brought him here. So I took him to school, P1, up to P7, passed very well, went to senior. Today, this year, I in senior 4.
At least 1,530 patients received brain surgery at Cure Children's Specialized Hospital, compared to 800 to 950 between 2016 and 2017, and between 1,100 and 1,200 surgeries between 2017 and 2018. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC News, in Mbale.
Thank you so much, Hilda. And we thank all those that are endeavoring to save those young souls that are in pain. Government is to increase funding for specialized training institutions, especially health training institutes, for skills improvement in the country. Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. Chrysostom Muyingo, disclosed this while officiating at the 10th graduation ceremony of Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery in Kampala.
Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery has graduated with diplomas in nursing and midwifery as a tradition tends. Graduates took their oath of allegiance. The Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, says government is committed to improving skills output in the health sector, adding that plans are underway to recruit and promote tutors to balance the teachers-student ratio.
My ministry, the Ministry of Education and Sports, is very proud to be associated with the success being celebrated today. There is an even greater need to provide large numbers of well-trained manpower.
The Commissioner of Business, Technical, Vocational and Education Training, Dr. Safina Kisumusene, says the BITVET policy will create desired standards in empowering youth with skills.
TVET policy, and the TVET policy, it is an employer-led policy, and it is a demand-driven policy, and emphasizes collaboration with the world of work.
The principal Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery, Nampi Makakonge Eva, is happy with the support to the school, but said inadequate funding, infrastructure demands, transport among others is impacting negatively on the school's performance.
As we are moving into East African community and for job competition, we are thinking of expanding this institution, but we are lacking funds.
Graduates vowed to use the skills acquired to the communities.
Good nurses and midwives. Yeah. We are good and we have skills. And we shall try our level best.
Henry Moganga compiled this report.
We now take you to business news tonight. Buhweju artisanal miners requested government to allow them carry out their indigenous mining as they coexist with other miners. This was during a working visit by the Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources to Buhweju miners and asked government to legalize their work.
There was no need to come with the full force of the army of our police to come and evict us. We'd just
what the chairman?
Gold mining in the Buhweju district is the main economic activity and source of income, especially for the artisan miners. However, following several conflicts between gold miners and artisanal miners petitioned the parliament seeking an intervention into the matter. Artisanal miners have asked the government to permit them to coexist with other miners for a meantime as government sorts the grievances. This was during an interaction between members of parliament and artisanal miners in the Buhweju district in the field visit.
Affecting lives of over 20,000 people. Actually 20,000 people directly, but even more dependents that were dependent on. So I think an immediate solution has to be found as we work on a much longer term solution.
There is no way we can just eliminate them as if they don't exist. We have to stimulate the policy immediately. We need to find a way to protect the artisanal miners, because these are people who have been here. They have got their food from mining. They have got their school fees from mining. So there is no way you can wake up in the morning and you evict them, and they don't have where to go. If you want to evict them, then compensate them and take them where they are supposed to be.
Members of Parliament say there should be a gradual action of getting artisanal miners off the site or legalize artisanal mining rather than abrupt action.
We request the government to appreciate the plight of the people of Buweju and allow that our people go back to their mining because they have mined since time immemorial.
I believe indirectly we benefit our economy, because when an artisanal gets money, the money is spent in the country. Not like a illegal miner who is from China, he will mine and carry the gold and take to China.
They say gazetting gold artisanal miners would be better since it employs the biggest population in the district and also contributes to the economy in form of royalties. Members of Parliament, however, say amending the mining law to incorporate indigenous mining will reduce conflict between the two groups of miners.
We have more than 20,000 miners, and if now that they have been evicted from the mines, as a district leader, there is no way I can put them, because mining has been their major source of livelihood, and it's very difficult now to sustain what is going through.
We should regularize this, find a way of reaching a compromise with them, because these are Ugandans. They are here now. If they have no money, if they are not employed, it is us as government who suffer. Therefore,
Susan Naunga and Nyine Fred reporting for UBC TV.
Kampala Capital City Authority, now from Buweju, is to redeploy the take-over management of Wandegya Market following expiry of the term of the interim committee that has been there for the 3 years. Speaking during the authority's sitting, the Director Gender, KCCA Harriet Mudondo, said that this will, however, affect other businesses, such as relocating Kasubi market vendors, because KCCA does not have enough manpower.
A section of vendors from Wandegya Market who were following proceedings from the gallery seemed not to have understood the resolution of authority on management and administration of the market. They went out convinced that the current interim committee has been left to manage the market, which was not the case. Although authority had resolved in previous meetings to put a stop the leadership of the interim committee in managing Wandegya Market, following complaints that it was oppressing vendors, yet its term had expired, the acting deputy executive director, KCCA, Sam Serunkuma, asked for an extension of this leadership, saying KCCA does not have enough manpower. This statement did not please councillors, who thought a resolution on this matter had already been made and the ED was just shielding the current management of the market for unknown interests.
Unfortunately, what I am thinking, that there is an effort to try and shield that committee. That you have manpower to torture vendors who works handkerchiefs and doesn't have manpower to save lives in your constructed market.
If you have someone from revenue, then that is okay. Let us get another person, one person from gender as a directorate. Yes, we go to HR on the issue of utilities. We can get someone from HR.
We give ourselves time and all the energies and the brains we put into these matters, we come up with the resolutions. Then they are just treated as if it's I don't know when the pays. So how do you continue spending taxpayers' money illegally? You get it? Are they volunteers now? Or we continue to pay them? You cannot spend a tax, not even a single coin, outside the public of the law. And these are the people who are not accountable to us now.
Some councillors are also opposed to the idea by the Lord Mayor allowing vendors to manage the market, emphasizing that this should be left to the professionals. However, the Director Gender KCCA Harriet Mudondo argued that the available manpower was currently working on relocation of Kasui market vendors, and if they are to be transferred, this work will be affected. She promised authority that KCCA is to redeploy in Wandegya Market.
But that means
that we are going to postpone all the activities that we've been doing in Kasmi Market, which included the display of the vendors register. The crisis that we're talking about of manpower, like I said, it's not a perfect thing. I am talking about something that I know is on the ground, but we can have a trade-off. Now, the aspect of the trade-off that we need to be aware of is that as KCCA, we cannot manage one area market permanently.
Meanwhile, authority has passed a resolution for the Lord Mayor to write to Makerere University Vice-Chancellor about their take on the current situation, following a report from the Chancellor, Makerere University, Doreen Nyanjura, on the happenings.
Beaten, tortured, and abandoned on the streets of Kasubi. As we talk, she's currently undergoing treatment. She's in a very serious state.
It looks like the Vice-Chancellor is acting autonomously, because you cannot suspend a student even before they go through a fair trial.
I'm Nafka Farida and Sebida Andrew in Kampala.
Road users have been called upon to protect roads in order to boost development in the country. This was a call made by State Minister for Local Government Jennifer Namuyangu in the launch of the Road User Satisfaction Survey report that was held in Kampala today.
In a survey conducted by the Uganda Road Fund about road user satisfaction for the year 2018-2019, it was disclosed that the amount of road users satisfied with the road maintenance has shot up from 39% in 2018 to 50% in 2019. Over 3.1 trillion shillings has been injected in road maintenance for the past 10 years, catering for at least 80 road links. It is for this reason that the State Minister of Local Government, Jennifer Namuyangu, has advised road users to protect these roads in order to promote development in the country.
I have the pleasure to launch the 2019 Road User Satisfaction Survey report. Our people get involved in the sustained improvement of our public road network through Burundi 1C.
Among the challenges aired out from the report are the narrow roads, dusty roads, absence of road markings, reckless drivers, among others. The State Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, says some of these issues are going to be solved by collecting road toll, which will be used in the maintenance of the roads.
6.4 trillion in the road sector, mostly for road development and maintenance of Uganda's road network. It's important to note also that out of that 6.4 trillion, some of the money was for the bombardiers. And the bombardiers are here. So we are now connected with road and in air.
However, the Executive Director, Uganda Road Fund, Engineer Dr. Michael Dong, is dissatisfied with the Ministry of Finance, which he says is reluctant in funding road works. He is, however, grateful by the government for allocating the lion's share to the ministry, which he says will be used appropriately.
This is the message which has been very clear. The Road Fund Act says the road fund money is sourced from road users' charges. The road tolls, the transit fees, the fuel levy, etc., collected and deposited in an independent road fund account monthly. And
this report comes at a time when most roads have been driven away due to the heavy rains. Ugandans have been asked to be patient as the issue is being resolved. Mokanya Ibrahim and Jamil Sekaja reporting for UBC TV News.
A UK-based Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment in partnership with Uganda Institute of Banking has awarded 100 scholarships to Makerere University College of Business students. The Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, Mulindwa Anthony, says that the move is aimed at
financial services plus a bunch of 100 students. Perhaps starting point to Uganda, why is this so very important? It's really very important reason. first to raise awareness, appreciation and understanding of financial services. Our young people, our students, let's remember the young.
Ugandans have been urged to embrace good saving habits for improved livelihood. This was during the second annual general meeting of members of the Umoja Sacco, a subsidiary of Operation Wealth Creation. According to Professor Anthony Mujisha at the patron Umoja Sacco, Ugandans continue to exhibit a poor saving culture despite mushrooming financial institutions that offer vital services.
Culture is at 17% despite numerous interventions by government and other development partners to interest the public into embracing the practice. Though some critics blame the slow adaptation spirit on poverty levels in the country, Professor Anthony Mugisha thinks it has a lot to do with the attitude.
Look at our weddings. Really? Our graduation parties. It's a culture. It's a bad culture of spending. We haven't developed a culture of saving. So we must develop a culture of saving.
In a bid to change this status quo, Umoja Sacco is training a number of Ugandans on the best and practical practices for saving. Colonel David Karuhanga, the board chairman, Umoja Sacco, says so far over 50,000 people have been trained.
The active members, the actual members who are saving, they are 15,000. Find them doing something, as far as the daily life is concerned. So we mobilized those people. Those are the organized groups that are in Umoja. Even circles, you hear they are circles, but others are very small circles. So those ones also we mobilized them. They are under this umbrella of Umoja.
Colonel Karuhanga says, although the Sacco is operating mainly in Nakawa division, plans to spread it to other parts of the country are underway.
It's a group network. So when people come to our classes, he will tell her aunt who is in Matuga. And the aunt tomorrow morning will come with other friends. So we have people from different places.
Some time back, government directed different ministries, departments and agencies to up efforts towards achieving the 4 pillars of socio-economic transformation: democracy, Pan-Africanism and patriotism. Dorcas Kimono and Gloria Guitabinji, UBC TV News.
Thank you so much for watching. We now go to news beyond Ugandan borders. Members of Ugandan Parliament's Defense and Internal Affairs Committee are in Somalia to assess the progress and success of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, who are part of the AMISOM contingent since 2017. The delegation is led by the committee chairperson, Honorable Doreen Amule, as we see in this report.
Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF has played a key role in the pacification of Somalia, a task that they have done diligently since 2007. Uganda People's Defense Forces plays this role under the African mission in Somalia, AMISOM, which include forces from other regional countries like Burundi. Occasionally, and for the purposes of checks and balances, government of Uganda, especially through its legislative arm, has monitored the progress of the forces. The latest is now when the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs has set a foot in Mogadishu to qualify resources allocation towards this project.
Fairly a quantity of peace that I can see now, because from the time we arrived, we see life going on. We've seen so many new structures, and it is not exactly what someone would think was there before, like 5-10 years back. We see a life trying to come up. There's rejuvenation of whole status. from the airport even up to the hotel where we're living, and whatever environment we've seen so far, there is hope for Somalia for as long as every other person can join hands and work towards achieving that peace.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces spokesperson Richard Kalimire welcomes the initiative by the committee to visit and monitor taxpayers' money that goes towards over 6,000 strong UPDF officers in Mogadishu.
A lot has been made. The country looks more stable than it was very many years. That's why we have even our Uganda Airlines able to land in Mogadishu. So this visit is good as far as it will give these members of parliament who have an oversight role on us as UPDF to check on what we have been doing and what we continue to do for the people of Somalia.
While in Somalia over the next 7 days, the committee will interact with the key stakeholders, notably Uganda Contingent Commander Mike Kabango and Uganda's ambassador to Somalia, Nathan Mugisha. They will also visit key installations in Balawi, Kuriori, and Lower Shabelle on top of meeting local leaders. Mutesa Sida Haruna, reporting for UBC News in Mogadishu, Somalia.
The prosecution in the case against Dominic Ongwen at the ICC believes they have made a watertight case to secure conviction. Dominic Ongwen is being charged with 70 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity, which are all alleged to have been committed between July 2002 and December 2005 in northern Uganda. Updating journalists in Kampala about the proceedings in Hague, Betty Holler, the associate trial lawyer, also revealed that they have lined up a rebuttal witness to counter the defense allegations of mental illness.
Moment, we are only anticipating to call one such witness. We call them rebuttal witnesses, which will be a psychiatrist. After that, the defense has the possibility to again respond. The defense, according to the ICC procedure, always has the chance to have the last word. And at that point, we think in the beginning of December, the latest, the presentation of evidence will conclude. So the parties then have to, according to this decision, the parties will file their final written submissions by the 26th of February. And this is the big news, on the 10th of March, the parties will deliver closing statements. So the final speeches in the case will be held will start on the 10th of March. They will probably take place over a few days, but they will begin on the 10th of March, which means that at that point, in the beginning of March, the trial will finish, will conclude. The judges will then retire. They will assess and debate all the evidence that they have heard, and they will come to a decision whether Dominic Ongwen is to be found guilty or innocent of the crimes charged, and they will return with a written judgment, with a written decision in about 6 to 10 months.
The Africa Rugby Men's Sevens will climax on the 8th of November this year in Johannesburg, South Africa. The two-day tournament has attracted 14s that will compete in the continental tie. Uganda, Madagascar, Senegal, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire, Tunisia, Zambia, among others, hope to lock horns for bragging rights on the podium.
There and Sal digging away for it. Second entry. And Uganda offering just a...
Uganda Rugby Sevens men's team will get another opportunity to prove their worth in a continental clash, having defended the African Championship twice. However, this time Uganda will have to tussle it out with World Rugby Sevens giants South Africa and neighbors Kenya to claim the top spot.
The pill back to where it all began. Sakuda again. Oh, that's strong work from Oscar Uma over the top.
Adrian Casito, Captain Michael Okorach, Desire Irera, Philip Okorach, Isaac Massa, James Odong, among others on the team.
The overall winner of the tournament will be crowned 2019 African champion and also earn qualification for the Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan 2020.
So Okia moves it and then shoveled sideways, and Ogena takes it in. Well, if they're going to score, they're going to have to do it from their own 22 as the white-shirted tackles rain in.
On the local scene, the much-awaited Rugby Uganda Cup has geared up for Saturday across the country, where most teams in the central region will be on their way to honor their fixtures in the first round of the competition. Some of the games are: newly promoted Sailors will replace Gulu Elephants, who pulled out for unknown reasons in a clash where they will square ties against Buffaloes. Betwell Cobs will be on their way against Mbale Elephants, while Lukba Barbarians will entertain Entebbe-based Plascon Mongers. Impis host Chadondo-based Heathens, while Kisubi Pacers square ties against Black Pirates.
Uganda can offer here. And run into the big white wall offered by...
That was Helen Barbara Gizamba with that story of the rugby tournament. We thank you so much for watching News Tonight. That's what we all had. We had for you. Let's take a look at the weather forecast with Alituveira Juliet. Then we sign off.
Hello there, welcome once again to another edition of the Weather Report. I'm Alituveira Juliet from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Most parts of the country are still experiencing wet activities, and from our rainfall report received by 9 a.m. this morning, it is indicating Lira with the highest of 20.3 millimeters, Kabale 18.3, Entebbe 2 millimeters, whereas Mbarara reported 1.4 millimeters. And from our satellite image taken over Africa, it is indicating that we are still receiving moist winds from Indian Ocean towards our country, and also the rain belt is still diffuse and over our country, leading to these wet activities. For tomorrow morning, we are expecting most parts of the country to have rains, thunder showers for Kampala and Arua. Elsewhere, we are expecting cloudy conditions. In the afternoon, we are expecting wet weather pickup for most parts of the country, sunny intervals for the northern and the eastern region, and this will lead the maximum temperatures to rise up to 28 degrees centigrade for the Karamoja region. Around Kampala, a range of 27 to 28 degrees centigrade is expected, and for Kabale Highlands, a maximum of 22 is expected. And if you intend to go beyond Uganda, we are expecting rains in Nairobi and London at a maximum of 26 in London. Sunny conditions for Dubai, Paris and New York at a maximum of 16 in New York. Thank you for keeping us company. Don't forget your umbrellas at home tomorrow. Have a blessed night.
Thank you, Juliet. I'll carry my umbrella, and I think whoever is watching will. That is all we had for you tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. On behalf of the whole team here, we thank you so much for keeping the evening with us and wish you the best of the weekend. Good night.
Check target. Dial star 1625. Get 100% on data and bonus. Win instantly with Mega Master Pay. Just recharge and hit your target. Cut the rich award.